Hi, in FlowWright 10.2, we added a new feature, which is Visual Process Debugger, where you can build a process, but you can also visually debug that process. And I'm going to go ahead and show you an example of that. We'll create a brand new process, and we'll also go and debug that process. So let me go ahead and log into FlowWright, and let's go ahead and create a new process. So let's call this visual debugger test. And let's open that in the designer. And let's say we are going to update some variables and globals here. So let's go ahead and define some. And so in this process, let's have a variable called data. And let's also define a global called, let's say, amount. And I'm going to use some of our update steps. So if you do search for variable, you'll see update variables. And if I search for global, you'll see our update global step. And let me connect these guys. And now that we have these steps, let's go ahead and update our variables. So name of the variable is variable data. And let's put the value apple. And you can hit save here to save. And then we'll update a global also. So here we are going to say our global is global dot amount, and let's put 664 as the value. And I'm going to go ahead and save that. So go ahead and save the definition. So in the old versions of our software, you would have to actually run this, create a process instance and have the engine execute it to see what it does. Now what you can do is actually you can go ahead and graphically, visually debug this process. So if you write from the designer, you can do that. You can go to and say debug, and you can see similar to process creation, it's going to ask you for the values of data and amount. So in this case, since the process is going to set those, I'm not going to enter any value. I'm going to say start debugging, and it's going to bring up our visual debugger. In this case, you can see that it completed the start step, and it also executed the update variable step. And that's the step the debug is on right now. If you click on the step itself, you can see the values of the variables. You can also see that data is set to Apple. And if I look at global, you'll see amount is 0. You can also look at properties and their values. You can also see the execution info when things started and stopped. And if you look at this visual debugger, you'll see menu on the top here where you can clear breakpoints. You can look at the execution view. You can render it. You can also in the debugger say run all. You can also say next, which will go to the next step. And you can also stop debugging. And if I right click on any of these steps, I can also add breakpoints. I can say run to this step, and I can also say jump to this step if I'm on a waiting step. And if I go into an existing step, I can also reset to this step or run from this particular step also. So there's a variable different options within our visual debugger. These are all the basics that we're covering in this example. And I can also say next here, and you'll see that it went to the next step. If you have multiple paths, parallel paths, all that are handled within our visual debugger, in this new version, the only thing that we don't handle is sub workflows, which will be built future. But you can still test the sub workflow using the visual debugger also. Um, so this is an overview of our visual debugger. This has already helped some of our new customers easily build processes and test them and debug them. So hope it helps you too. Thank you for watching.